Week 0 is officially in the rearview mirror. After that entertaining appetizer, we can now focus on the real kickoff to the college football season. This is always one of the biggest weekends of the year. Tons of storylines, sneaky good matchups, and games that are way too important to ignore. Let's dive into a handful of them. Some with personal interest in mind, some national, and some that could shape the playoff picture this season.
Check it out, Oli.
You look like your average bust.
This ain't your average badges.
That's Idaho State. College football's apex predators.
And
The Bengals.
rolls in when things fly out of hand.
Hey, what's up, fellas? We could finally move past that surprising Week 0. Well, I should say disturbing, at least for me. I think I'm finally done crashing out over the UNLV Idaho State game. If you've seen that post-game reaction video, it was actually rather tame compared to what I was saying off camera. But I'm still not happy, nor do I think anyone in/around or anyone that cheers for the Rebels program would have been. But as they say, a win is a win, right? That does bleed into this week though. So let's start there with my Rebels. The storyline for this game is all about that massive bounce back that we need. UNLV cannot afford another showing like that. We need to rectify last week's near embarrassment. Mr. Mullen's squad has to be better this week. Look, I'll happily forget and chalk up last week to be a fluke. And maybe it was just too early in the day or there's too much sun out. I don't know, something though. Please. Give me something. But you gotta beat Sam Houston. Handily. Just to get a little bit of momentum back. Sam Houston is still trying to find out their identity. Now, I will give them more credit than I think I would have originally because they played okay, at least for a half, against Western Kentucky. Still does not mean this game should be close. But with how we played last week, I'm not sure that's the case anymore. God. Please prove me wrong. Sam Houston does have a legitimate chance to win this game if last week's defense strikes again. If Paul Gunther's defensive woes continue, I think we would be on pace to have a worse season, statistically speaking, than that USC Alex Grinch 2023 season. The keys of the game, pretty simple. The first one, feed Jet. Jaden Thomas needs more touches. He was the best player on the field last week. He needs to touch the ball early and often. 2, I just talked about it. Defense, you gotta step up. There's too much talent to be gashed by a team like Idaho State. Sam Houston will more than likely run something similar. Quick throws, screens, a ton of RPOs. You gotta adjust this week though. You gotta adjust. 3, fundamentals. Wrap up and tackle. Stop going for highlight reels and play sound football. We were out of position almost the entire game last week. You cannot do that against Sam Houston. Keys for Sam Houston, keep it as close as long as possible. Be the more disciplined team and take advantage of any mistakes UNLV makes. The prediction, look at Rebels by 1,000,000. I feel less confident in that, especially now that the line has moved down to 10.5. But I am a fan through and through. I've been there when they were terrible. I went to those games at Sam Boyd when we would get our face beat in by San Diego State or whatever Mountain West school you could think of. And I'll be there now. You can call me delusional, but I believe this team fixes things and gets back on track. God. Please, I hope so, right? Let me be right. Moving on to game number 2. With the Rebs being close to my heart and closest in proximity that I allow to make or break my happiness for the week, the team that has just as much importance in my life and is the original reason I fell in love with this great sport we know as college football would be the USC Trojans. So let's look at SC versus Missouri State. Storyline, this should be a complete mismatch. Missouri State has no business competing here. This is where USC should work out the kinks, get young guys reps, and specifically, we need to figure out what's going to happen at right tackle. Who's going to be the starter going forward, and also probably figure out what's happening at center. Between Killian O'Connor, who I'm not as down on as other people around the program seem to be, and Ja'Andre Reed, who is far too good to not be playing at all. Just look at his tape at Syracuse. This is more of a recent development though, so either way, SC should be comfortably ahead by halftime. Lincoln Riley should be staring off into the sunset before the end of the second quarter. Keys to this game, like I said, rotate players, get underclassmen and backups valuable snaps that can get them ready for the rest of this season. And with DJ Winfield ruled ineligible, right tackle is the spot to watch. Let the D-line eat. There's no excuses for Missouri State's O-line to win any matchups at any point during this game. Keys for Missouri State, gain some experience, and welcome to the FBS, buddy. Prediction, USC by a trillion, and I don't know the spread, but USC should cover it. The thing to watch here really is whether Jaden looks like he's finally taken that next step, and whether him and Lincoln Riley are in sync. Let's move on to the game of the week. This is a big one, the national headliner, Ohio State, Texas. The storyline going into this one is the defending national champions, Ohio State, taking on a Texas team that many think will be the national champions this year. Ryan Day, Steve Sarkisian, blue chip rosters, Big Ten, SEC, under the lights. This is as good as it gets. Keys to the game for Ohio State, Julian Sand needs an I arrive type of performance to really push this team over the edge. Jeremiah Smith is a monster, but the rest of this roster doesn't have the same experience, at least game experience, that last year's team does. So it'll be interesting to see if it's a close game going into the fourth, what happens. For Texas, Arch Manning is the Heisman favorite. And even though I think he's a little overrated, they still have talent everywhere else. And look, to be honest with you, Sark needs a signature win. Now, playing away at the shoe is going to be tough, but I feel like it's their game to lose. Prediction-wise, besides the 2.5 point spread that the Buckeyes are favored by, everyone wants, ESPN included, Texas to win. But I got a gut feeling. The Big Ten has just owned the SEC recently. I'm going to lean the Buckeyes. Let's move on to Game 4. Oh, man. This is my favorite storyline of the week. Thomas Castellanos caused an absolute shit show this offseason when he said FSU could beat BAMA. God, I hope he's right. I could not think of a better way to kick off a Heisman type of campaign than by going into Tuscaloosa. Hey, I just realized this game is actually taking place at Florida State. So, my bad. Versus the dynasty that Saban built. And quieting the Crimson Tide fans? Oh, perfect. Do I think it's likely? No. Do I want it to happen? Absolutely. The Seminoles might get their face smashed in, but they gotta fight back. Keys to the game, Alabama, just be Alabama. Open up the playbook, don't get predictable. Let your athletes dominate. Florida State, you're gonna have to blitz early, create chaos, and hit on big plays. Castellanos might have to have the game of his life to win this game. Prediction-wise, my head says Alabama, my heart says mayhem. As a 13-point favorite, though, I gotta give it to Bama, but I'll be rooting for a meltdown. Please, this would be great if Alabama loses. Let's go to the last of the 5 games, UCLA versus Utah. Storyline here is it's a sneaky good game. UCLA fans will finally get to see Nico Amalivia, and yes, that is his name now. I don't care if it is I am Milava, or they get to see him in this new offense. There's also a possibility for them to be a 8 or even 9 win team this year. Maybe even, I dare say, being a good team. This is only if they catch opponents at the right time. Ugh, dude, I hated putting UCLA and good in the same sentence. Meanwhile, Kyle Whittingham's Utah is looking to rebound after a down year, and retirement rumors are always swirling around him, so you never know, this could be the last run. There's also preseason hype when it comes to Utah, possibly making it as a contender in the Big 12, a dark horse contender. The Utes also have new blood at quarterback with Devin Dampier, who me as an avid Mountain West watcher will tell you is very entertaining. His statistics may not say that, but his playstyle will ingratiate him into the college football landscape. Just cut down on the turnovers, man. Keys of the game, UCLA, air it out. Put pressure on Utah's defense early. Let Nico show why he was so hyped. Give your defense an early lead that they can play with. And embrace being the heel. Nobody likes you guys. You UCLA weirdos need to almost use that as fuel to succeed. Utah, be back to being Utah. Run the ball, dominate the trenches, and play fundamental football. And like I said earlier, Dampier is exciting if he limits those turnovers. Utah can absolutely win this game. Prediction-wise though, I think I'm going with the baby Bruins. I don't like saying that. It sounds gross. I just have a gut feeling. I hope I'm wrong. I won't be shocked if Utah ends up winning this game, but it's going to be messy and more competitive than I think people expect. Let's finish this up with some honorable mentions. Miami versus Notre Dame. Both have new quarterbacks. I don't like either one of them. I'm probably going to lean Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman is a great coach. I can't deny that. I'm not going to take that away from him. Arizona, Hawaii. The Wildcats should win, especially with Hawaii's quarterback situation. By situation, I mean the lifeless body that they might wheel out there that was known as Micah Alejado. He got beat up a lot in that Stanford game. That was pretty crazy. But I mean, he plays hard, so you never know. Indiana versus Old Dominion. I would say watch out for an upset, but really, I just want to see how Indiana can respond after such a great year last year. UTSA, Texas A&M. Don't sleep on UTSA. They're too well coached, and if you overlook them, they'll make you pay. They're due for a big game win against a Texas school. It's going to happen eventually. I don't know if it happens here, but I hope it does. And then we'll round it out with LSU Clemson. Absolute must watch. I'm going to lean Clemson for now, but Brian Kelly almost cannot afford another week 1 loss, or else his seat will be incredibly hot. Well, before I get out of here, Boise just screwed the Mountain West out of the playoffs. So that's cool. Knew something like this was going to happen. Anyways, if you agree with any of my picks or you have an issue with them, leave a comment. If stuff like this is stuff you like, think about subscribing, but I think you should like the video.